All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Texans Junkies. I'm Mark, joined as always by Nathan. And listen, we weren't thinking about putting out an episode this weekend. I was calling Nathan. I was just like, there is no news going on. And just like that, the Nico Collins news dropped about his extension. So we're happy to do an episode. We were itching to do one anyway. So this gave us a reason to. But today we got a really good one for y'all. We're going to talk about the extension, of course, and then we're going to go over some prop bets we have for each other. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to sort of pose some bets that are kind of unlikely to happen, and we can choose whether or not we want to take the other person's bet. And if we do take the bet, whichever ones we do take, we'll keep track of over the year and see who ends up doing the best. So we're really excited. But let's go ahead and start out with the big news. Nathan, we got it done. All right, we got it done. This was the only thing left in this offseason where, and I wasn't even concerned, but it just felt like something might happen. And the Texans ended up getting it done. 3-year, $75 million contract extension with $52 million guaranteed. Dude, how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I mean, like when we first talked about it, it seemed a little expensive, right? Because it's only been like 1 year, and we didn't give, what's his name, Jonathan Grenard the money, even though he had one good year, really. So it's like, it's a little like they're kind of wishy-washy on things. Obviously, I'm glad we got Danielle Hunter instead, but when it comes to like the Texans, the guys that have been here the longest, like a Jonathan Grenard or a Nico Collins, you got to take care of them. Like they gave you what you wanted. They gave you a playoff win. They took you to the playoffs. He showed that he can be a number one in this league. And now you got to take care of the guy. You want to pay Stephon Diggs, an outsider, really, 23.5 million. Pay Nico. So, Nico, I believe I saw is the first draft pick from Nick Casario that got a big extension. Is that right? I believe so.
It
So I mean, like,
sounds right because the Nico Collins and Davis Mills draft was Casario's first, and he only had like a couple third rounders and I think after that, yeah, it was just day threes.
and he traded for Nico, who I believe in the third, fourth round, something like that. So I mean, really good decision here. Obviously, we talked about it a couple episodes ago, that if he does ball out this year, this total that you see 3 years, 75 million could have easily have been 85 with 60 guaranteed or 62 guaranteed. So honestly, if you really look at the logistics of it, with him just playing that one good year, you save yourself probably a lot of money if he lives up to his expectations of being another 1,200-yard receiver, 1,300-yard receiver. So this is a pretty cheap deal in football terms, because obviously 75 million is not chump change. So, but I'm excited that we got it done, man. I mean, we've done a lot in this offseason. We've allocated the resources, and he's just another part, And you can see in all these contracts, Casario's setting up for CJ's contract. At the end of this contract, it'll be CJ's time for an extension, stuff like that. So that's what I do like about it as well. But yeah, dude, I'm stoked.
100%. Yeah, I completely agree. And when you were talking about Grenard and Nico, they were both guys who sort of had to suffer through those years where we were borderline unwatchable. But despite Nico's like skill position bias, when you're comparing them, every Texans fan, in my opinion, will agree that Nico is better than Grenard, and he was the right choice if you're picking one of them to stay. I'm not saying that this money was going to be allocated to either one of them. Like, obviously, that's not how the team budget works. The team, salary. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like the cap space?
Yeah,
or?
I guess, yes, cap space. Thank you. Not sure why I was blanking. That's not how that works, but so glad that we locked him down, and at a young age too, where he's been really good for the last couple of years. So super excited about that. I wanted to also real quick go over the top 15 wide receivers right now, just to kind of put it in perspective as to how much we're paying him. Right now,
top
he's sitting
15
at 8.
paid receivers, right?
Yeah, based on average salary. Not sure what I said, but Nico Collins right now sitting at number 8, and we're still waiting on people like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk. I think we're still waiting on those contracts to come through, and it's going to take some time because I feel like they're all waiting on each other to see who gets paid what. And also, Jalen Waddle just got paid today too, which is pretty noteworthy.
A huge contract.
Yeah,
Huge.
yeah, about 10 million more.
I think he
and
got he got 76 million guaranteed. Wow.
Yeah, which is a ton. And he's a wide receiver too on that team. And I know the Dolphins are built different, but that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So real quick. So from 2021, he played 14 games. This is Nico Collins, of course. He had 33 receptions, 60 targets, 446 yards. Rookie year wasn't great. We saw flashes, but nothing really too okay. So then the next year, 10 games he played, 37 receptions going up, 66 targets, 481 yards, and he averaged those 2 years about 13 yards per catch. And then he had 1 touchdown in year 1 and 2 in year 2. Year 3, he had 15 games played. So he's more consistent with his games played, right? He's been consistent over 10, right? 80 receptions, 109 targets, 1,297 yards, 16 yards per catch, and 8 touchdowns with a long of 75 yards. That was his longest catch this year. So when you look at that and you have to make a decision, well, do we want to extend him now or do we want to, gamble and have him play one more year? Great this year, right? And then have to pay him 80 million. I think, or 85 million, whatever the case may be. Like, you got to take advantage now when his price is somewhat low and just pay him. He gave you what you wanted and that's what you got. So I'm super excited to see how he plays after this huge deal. Usually people play pretty well after they get huge deals, unless you're Brock Osweiler, and then you just completely shit the bed. So, I mean, Texans have history of paying people a lot of money and then just giving up. So,
yeah,
but I'm super excited for this one. I don't think Nico's going to be that guy.
Completely agree. Yeah, he's trending the right way. And I think after all these big name wide receivers get paid, I really do just think the wide receiver market is going to get so much more expensive in general. Yeah. And so I wanted to take a look at this list real quick because some things stuck out to me. First of all, at 14, we have Stephon Diggs, just to give you an idea of how much Diggs is being paid. Bona fide number 1 his whole career. Also, you know what shocked me is Calvin Ridley and Devontae Adams are the same age. Yeah. If you had asked me, I would have said Calvin Ridley is 3 years younger than him. That shocked me. Whenever I look at like stats and stuff, I just get appalled sometimes at certain things, and that's one of those things where I was floored when I saw that. But
yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, but the Jalen Waddle extension today got paid 10 million more and about 20 million more guaranteed. That was pretty nice to see, honestly, because I just think we got Nico on such a deal, and he's up next. So
right, no, I completely 100% agree with that. I think, and now with this trio, and even Stephon Diggs posted on Instagram about him getting paid, saying you deserve it. All these people are congratulating him, which is super cool to see. Given that we know what he's been through, we know that he hasn't had a quarterback since he started, and once he gets one, he goes off for 1,300 yards. Like, this is time. This is time to invest. This is time to give your players the money, show them that you're loyal, and that's what Nico's done. He's been loyal through the ups and the downs, and yeah, man, I'm super excited. I know you are too. You believed in Nico since he started. Before the year last year, you said he's going to be our breakout player, and he was. Obviously, he was the only breakout player. So, I mean, obviously CJ, but
no, dude, there were some others. I mean, dude, I don't know what it is, but I just blank on players inexplicably when we're filming. It's unbelievable. What's our linebacker's name? Linebacker.
Oh, Christian Harris. Yeah, I mean,
Christian Harris broke out.
He broke out too.
Yeah, Stingley, amazing.
But nothing like Nico. Like,
yeah, I would say Stingley was almost as good, maybe just as good as Nico, just because he was so locked down. But
Yeah.
one more thing about Nico, and I actually just blanked on what I was going to say because I went on that tangent. Oh, I was going to say another reason why this is such a great contract is Nico is one of those players. Wide receivers get this sort of stigma for being divas because sometimes they are. You look at someone like Tyreek Hill, maybe, who kind of gets in the news for the wrong reasons. Nico's one of those guys who's just like head down, focused, is never a distracting presence, doesn't get in the media that often. And it's another reason why he reminds me of Andre Johnson. Not only his physical abilities and just how he plays and his stature. He's a taller receiver, a guy who you can throw to the corner of the end zone to. But he just has that mentality, I think, where he's completely focused and dialed in on the game. And you really love to see that. I love keeping a guy like that in house. And clearly CJ loves him too because he really broke out last year. So super cool. Not to glaze or anything, but I'm definitely a huge Nico fan. And just ordered a jersey on DH Gate for Nico yesterday. So that's going to come in about a month and a half from China. So pretty excited for that.
Dude, we're me and Mark are both excited for this. This is our year. I mean, I'm saying it right now. This is our year. Like you've done as much as you possibly can. I mean, the only changes I can make is release Robert Woods and maybe get Justin Simmons. Like that's about it. So like, and honestly, actually, I've been hearing that he's been doing great in training or in OTAs right now. Robert Woods, he's running great routes, catching the ball, playing at good game speed. So maybe we do keep him. I'm not saying Robert Woods is terrible. I'm just saying we don't need him, and I think we can upgrade with some of the rookies that have come in, like the Twins or Skoranek, who will be on the team. You traded for him; he will be on the team. But yeah, so we're happy about this one. Real quick, I want to go over last video. We got a comment. We want to shout out Yo Fu8UL. Said great content, first time listening, and looking forward to more videos. Well, here you go. Here's another video, and we appreciate your comment because that's what we want. We want y'all to engage with us. We see people are watching, and that's awesome. That's all we wanted. Like we don't mention really the subscribers and subscribe besides at the end of the video. We just want y'all to watch and we want y'all to engage. That's what we started this for, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in and obviously for the guys that or girls who comment. Thank you, and we appreciate it, and it shows that we're doing something right. So,
good save there, or girls.
Yeah. So
almost left out a crucial what do you call it, demographic there. That would have been a huge slip up. But like just piggybacking off that, we really appreciate it. Last couple of videos have gotten 100 plus views. So that basically tells us that we're doing things perfectly and no reason to improve. We can just coast from here on out. We're basically good. So yeah, we're really excited though. Thank you sincerely.
And we definitely have some really fun things planned, especially when it comes like to the season. We're going to be way more involved during the season, obviously. I know it's kind of hard right now without the news. And actually what's funny is me and Mark decided not to do a video this week. And then about 20 minutes later, I believe, right? 15, 20 minutes later, I called him back and said, Nico got extended. We got to do a video. So like, we love doing this. We hate when we have to skip weeks, but we've told y'all since the beginning, we don't do this to like put out videos rapidly. Like we try to make good content. Like, we're not just going to make up stuff on the fly and try to say things that really don't matter. Like OTAs, okay, I get it, but that's not what we're really about. Yeah. So, but we have some fun things planned this year, and we'll definitely get that started.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for hooking me up with the Nico Collins extension. You're my media insider.
For sure.
But yeah, we're not the type that's going to put out a Skoranek signing video. Like that's gonna be the last thing on the news docket for like the whole week or two. So, but yeah, we really appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the prop bets. So since we don't work for the NFL, we actually can gamble, and we take advantage of that very regularly, especially Nathan. Not to shout you out in a negative light or anything, because
it's a positive light, dude.
It is a positive light. It's a lifestyle. Light. People don't understand.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
But let's go ahead and get into your props.
People who quit, what do they say? People quit before they hit big, and that's why I'll never quit.
Yeah,
because I'm always going to be the one that hits big.
The next roulette spin is the one that pays out huge. So
yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so
take it away.
Basically, the way I understand it is this is more of like it's like a a bet, and we're gonna kind of answer like, can we see, would you take this bet, right? Like, would you take the over, under, money line, kind of like that sort of thing. So that's how we're gonna start. And here are my props. Okay, we're gonna start one at a time, and then we'll kind of give our feedback a little bit. So first one, I have Spencer Rattler starting this year. I don't think that's out of this. I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibilities. Like, I think Derek Carr is washed, and Spencer Rattler dropped so far because of his high school documentary that they had.
QB1, yeah.
Yeah, QB1, because of how cocky he was, and he got humbled. Caleb Williams took his spot. He went to South Carolina and balled out. No hate towards Spencer Rattler, but I do think he can start this year. Mark, this guy is a baller. He was the number one prospect out of high school in the last like the year that he came out. He was a huge prospect. You remember that? Remember that year
He was
where he went to Oklahoma?
He was a sensation. I think it
Yeah.
was. Was it 2019?
Something like
remember.
that, but he was huge. Like, it was like this huge. Spencer Rattler this, Spencer Rattler that.
He was far and away the favorite to win the Heisman that year, and I think he was benched mid-season or toward the end for Caleb Williams. So kind of a crazy story arc.
Yeah,
how that happened. Caleb Williams going number 1 now, but
yeah, I know, right? It's
yeah.
Hey, he's got something against him now for sure. He's gonna ball out.
Dude, it'd be interesting. We talked about it last episode too. Or the previous episode when we were going over what were we doing? I can't remember, but we were talking about the Saints division predictions. That's what we were doing. I don't think it's crazy, and I'm not going to take you on this because I agree with you. It is. I agree with you. It is unlikely. Derek Carr is still being paid $40 million a year, I think, but the way they structured Derek's contract is it was something like, and I'm not going to quote it exactly because I don't really know, but it was something along the lines of first 2 years are full of guaranteed money, but it's technically a 4-year contract. But you can cut ties after 2 years. Sort of like Kirk Cousins, how it's really front loaded with guaranteed money. So I think definitely possible they start some games. He's going into the second year, was pretty unpopular last year, ended on a good note, but Derek Carr is one of those quarterbacks that you just lose your patience with him. He's a stat compiler and
he turns the ball over.
Very mediocre record, pretty much his whole career. He does turn the ball over. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to take you on this one, but I love the prop.
Okay, cool. Well, my next one is a fun one. Texans Cowboys Super Bowl.
How are you gonna pose this when you have Cowboys third in the NFC East?
Okay, so the way this is working, guys, in case you don't know, is these are pretty unlikely to happen, right? So yeah, these are all predictions, by the way. Yeah, I say the Cowboys are going to be third because I don't like the Cowboys. But if we're being honest, I don't think they're making the Super Bowl. That's why I would never put my money on this because they can never make it. They have some sort of curse. They have some sort of curse. The Texans, though, I do believe can win the Super Bowl, go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, etc. But I don't know if they'll be against the Cowboys. So I'm proposing this bet to you, but I wouldn't personally take this bet. But what about you? That'd be a really cool Super Bowl, by the way.
It would be awesome. I love the prop bet, a Texas Super Bowl. Of course, I'm taking you on this. I don't think the Cowboys are even going to make the divisional round this year.
Yeah,
they could be a wild card team for sure. But yeah, of course I am, and it's not because of the Texans; it's because of the Cowboys. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that you have them behind the Commanders in the NFC East, and now you're like, I understand why, but now you're saying Super Bowl. It's great. No, it's great. Yeah, I'll take you on that one. I'm not sure how we're going to keep track of this, and we don't even have planned like what's on the line on these really, but we'll figure it out. So.
Yeah, and trust me, guys, we will keep up with this. This is documented in YouTube, so we can always go back. And if by the end of the year this happens, and Mark says, I never took you on that bet, just pull up this video.
Call me out.
Comment, the time, and we'll look it up, and we'll play it on the channel.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Call me out,
now,
and it'll give us.
Let's move on to my personal favorite. Actually, no, second favorite. Will Anderson breaks NFL sack record. Not Texan sack record. NFL, 23 sacks. You got to remember this. Danielle Hunter will be double-teamed this year. And that guy who just won Defensive Rookie of the Year last year is going to be free. And he can win.
No one's going to guard him.
I mean, he will be guarded, but he's going to get faster over the offseason. He get stronger. He's going to, get better on his moves, his bull rush, all that stuff. I think it's possible. I don't
Yeah.
know, but it could be.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna get really logical here, even though we're having fun with this segment. But I think just because Daniil Hunter's on the other side of the line, it's gonna take sacks away from Will Anderson, whether he likes it or not. I am definitely gonna take you on this. I don't think Will Anderson's gonna get 23 sacks this year, breaking TJ Watt's record. That'd be insane. And by the way, TJ Watt owns the sack record because I can't remember who it was.
Strahan.
Thank you, Michael Strahan. But they went back in time and figured out that one of his sacks, they're tied for the sack record, Watt and Strahan. And they figured out that one of his sacks was incorrectly marked as a sack and possibly even two. And it's on film. Like that's how they figured it out. Someone went back and watched all of his games and posed this, I believe, on Twitter. TJ Watt owns that record outright. Unofficially. So just a little bit of flowers for TJ because that's a real thing. You can go back and check out the film. Strahan was awarded a sack when he wasn't supposed to be. But aside from that, I don't think Will Anderson's going to get 23. I've said in the past, I think he and Daniil Hunter will both be over 10. But yeah, I'm taking you on this one. So mark that down as 2.
It. And then the last one, my favorite, CJ MVP. That's very likely. I know we were supposed to do unlikely, but this is very likely. And I would put a decent amount of money on his odds right now because they are really good. I believe it's plus 800 or plus 1,200, one of those. But I love this pick. CJ MVP, I would love to see him win. Obviously, if you have an MVP year, you're probably doing something right with your team and you're probably in the playoffs and you're probably going far. So I would love to see this happen. Ravens went 13-4 last year, right?
That sounds
right.
right.
They did.
Yeah.
13-4, 14-3, something like that. And Lamar won MVP. So with my prediction, 13-4, CJ could win an MVP. And I'm really excited to see that. Mark, you taking that or what?
I know you said it's likely. There are so many players in the NFL, and the fact that he's plus 800 tells you that, someone not named CJ is probably going to win it. He has a good chance to, but I'm not going to take you on it because I do think he's going to win MVP also. And maybe that's the homer in me, but the fact that he was in the conversation as a rookie and had such a great year and he's only been given more weapons, I love it. I love it. I think he will win MVP. I'm not going to take you on that, only the other two. So
cool.
I like it.
Let's move on to my boy. Let's see what you got.
All right. My props, and also we didn't mention this, we kind of did 2 in the NFL and then 2 Texans specific. So my first one is definitely only NFL. Taylor Heineke starts at least one game for the Falcons. So this is sort of in the spirit of Kirk Cousins getting the contract and then them drafting Penix 8th overall. People forget Taylor Heineke 2 years ago was starting games for the Commanders and started games for the Falcons last year too for like half the season. He is probably the best third string quarterback in the NFL. And I think that here's how I think this is going to play out before I ask you whether or not you want to take this. Kirk Cousins is not ready for the season opener. Maybe he comes back in like week 4 or 5. They put Penix in. Penix struggles early. They decide we're going to take Penix out. We don't want to ruin his confidence. We want him to stay confident and develop. They put Taylor Heineke in. Boom, my prop hits. That's how it's going to go. Do you take me on this?
I call. I take you on this bet.
Snap call.
I take it. A snap call.
Wow.
That's an easy one. No, he's not starting.
Okay.
They have Kirk Cousins, who they just paid handsomely, and then they just drafted a guy top 10. The stupidest franchise in the NFL, obviously. There's no need for an explanation there. But, yeah, I don't think he can start. No way. Even if he struggles early, I don't think they're worried about his confidence. I think they drafted him for a reason. He's confident. He played in week one of the NFL. I get college and NFL are different. Okay, I get that. But a national championship game is like a playoff atmosphere. Like he's been through the ringer. And yes, he lost that game, but he seemed pretty confident that game. So I think he can handle the pressure.
I like it. Yeah, I do think that's an easy call just because it's so unlikely. But I still see some sort of scenario where he might start a game. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Okay. Next one. Bo Nix. Bo Nix has the best year out of all the rookie quarterbacks, not just the first rounders, all of them. Allow me to explain. Allow me to explain.
Please.
We need
Please explain. There were 4 that went before him. Please explain.
Patrick Starr, the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. All right, here's what I'm thinking. Bo Nix, NFL ready. I stand by that. Sean Payton was quoted saying that Bo Nix reminded him of Mahomes, and Saints had the 11th pick in that draft. Mahomes was drafted 10th, and he regretted not trading up to get Mahomes. Of course, Sean Payton, like hindsight is 2020 moment. Like anyone could say that. Like the Texans could say that. Like, oh, we wanted Mahomes too. Whatever, dude. I don't buy that from Sean Payton. But he basically compared Bo Nix to Patrick Mahomes, which is insane. But just for him to do that tells me that he's the starter over Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham. I think he's NFL ready. When he played at Auburn, watched him in person, this is gonna hurt my argument, but he reminds me of Johnny Manziel.
Like
and
college
so,
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. And even though his weapons aren't amazing, I think Caleb Williams is going to have like an above average quarterback type of year, like average to above average. I think Bo Nix might actually light it up, and Broncos could flirt with 500, and he could be considered to have the best year. So I'm not sure if I even have to ask you, or you're going to take me on this, but what are you going to do?
I call. Dude, what are you talking about? We're talking about a generational prospect who is literally compared to Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams. We have Drake May, who CJ is quoted saying to be the most NFL ready. You have JJ McCarthy, who has Jay Jettas. You got Michael Penix, who will be benched, so he only has 3 to compete with, right? You have Jefferson, Addison, and Hawkinson as your receivers. I mean, 2 wide receivers and a tight end. That's huge. And then you got Caleb Williams, who has Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze, and Cole Kmet. And then you got Drake May, who has nobody. So he might only be competing with 2 people, if we're being honest. But okay. Drake May, I feel sorry for the guy because he's going to be in a tough situation, more like Bryce Young. And honestly, remember a couple episodes ago where we said the Giants are going to be the worst team?
Right.
Patriots might be the worst team.
They might.
They might. Actually might be the worst team. They have nobody besides Drake May and what's his name, the linebacker.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
He has a cool name too. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It. Whatever. Oh, Matthew Judon.
Yeah, Judon. Yeah. So that's all they got.
They drafted some rookies, so maybe one of them will stand out. But point taken. Overall, point taken. I'm keeping receipts on this one, sure. Unless I'm wrong, in which case I will conveniently forget. But I'm keeping receipts. I still think Bo Nix is actually going to have a fantastic rookie year. They have a pretty solid O-line, not amazing. They're all overpaid, in my opinion. I think 2 off seasons ago, they just overpaid everyone because the Walton family, who owns Walmart, they took over the franchise, and I guess they were trying to flex or something. But yeah, that's my prediction. I think he's going to be the best rookie QB. So I know you called, and it's probably the right choice. But we're 2 for 2. I love it. We're starting out. Let's go to my Texans ones, which I think you're going to like a lot more. J.J. Watt starts a game for the Texans next year.
You going to ask me?
Of course. Of course. Do you take this prop?
I fold.
Wow. Okay.
I fold. This is going to happen. I believe 100% this could happen. I'm sorry. I believe 100% this could happen. Honestly, I thought about calling, but I want this to happen so bad.
It's too
Like,
much
you
of a
have
dream
no idea.
scenario. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
too
you
much.
have no idea. I really want this to happen. So, but no,
Yeah,
you do have an idea of how much how much of an idea I have to want this to happen. So yeah,
yeah. And
this is definitely possible.
there have been too many whisperings for this to not be an actual possibility. Even though I would still say overall it's unlikely, I think it's the most likely of the three so far. Even though I'm dead set on Bo Nix. Remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure.
But okay, I love it. So we're 2 for 3, 2 for 3. And my last one: 3 Texans receivers go for 1,000 yards in 2024 through 25. Now I don't know if that's going to be uh, Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell. I don't know if it's going to be Nico, John Mechie, and Robert Woods. But I'm keeping it a little ambiguous just for that reason, even though it's overwhelmingly likely that it's going to be the former. But let me throw out a stat to you real quick, unless I clicked away from it, which I did, but I'll remember it. The last time this happened, and I'm surprised this has happened as many times as it has, was the Arizona Cardinals in, I believe, 2008. So it's been 15 to 20 years, 2006, 2008, something like that. It's been a long time, but we are the best suited team to do it
Yeah,
that I can remember in recent history. We have 3 bona fide wide receivers, wide receiver ones even. And I just think we're so explosive. I don't know how this happens without CJ throwing for 5K.
right.
So he's going to have a stellar year for this to happen. What do you think about this? Do you take this bet?
I fold.
You fold again.
I fold.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I honestly think this could happen. I mean, there's so much hype. I mean, obviously, people are talking about this CJ Stroud sophomore slump. Like, I don't really believe that BS. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, there possibly could be, but CJ seems so in tune with his game. Seems so like he had such a high IQ, made great decisions, veteran decisions in his rookie year, and he had 4,000 yards, and he was without Tank Dell, and he was without Nico. He was gone for 2 games, and Nico was gone for, whatever. So, dude, this is very possible. This isn't out of the realm of possibilities whatsoever. We are the best suited team at the moment. I mean, we can go that far. Like, we're the only team in the league that can do this. Like, who else can? Bengals lost Tyler Boyd. Vikings have, I guess they could have Hawk, but that's about it. And then you have maybe the Lions. Laporta's
Laporta is going
amazing.
to have 1,000.
He's amazing. He
The
might have a
first team that came
thousand.
to mind, surprisingly, was the Titans. Could possibly do
They
this,
could, they could.
but I think Levis limits that
Yeah, but if we have to talk about it today, we're the best team to do that. We're the only team in
by
my
far.
eyes that can genuinely go for 3,000 yards, 1,000 yards apiece. And I love that we can talk about our receiving core like that. So, I find it really amazing that just after 1 year, we're talking about Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, CJ. Like, dude, this is
Maybe it's
awesome.
Dalton Schultz. Maybe he's the other
Maybe,
one.
maybe.
He's the
So
most likely out of all the other options. But
I will say my favorite one out of all these. And Mark, you go ahead and tell me your favorite as well after I say mine. But I think mine's JJ.
yeah,
Bro, like CJ winning MVP would be amazing, right? Texans have never had an MVP player. JJ should have won, but they're never going to give it to a defensive player. Um,
not just seeing JJ in a uniform again, and not just him potentially leading us to a playoff run, but him retiring a Texan,
yeah,
already being in the Texans Ring of Honor, would be really special. I thought a really creative one was Spencer Rattler. I like that one a lot. But yeah, JJ, that's got to be my favorite. Yeah, I really hope that happens.
it would be. And by the way, guys, like I know y'all, everyone who watches is probably Texans fans. I would think,
We got a
but
Packers fan.
yeah, we did have a Packers fan.
Yeah,
But this would be a really emotional game, or
I would
even a
cry.
return. Period. Like, I mean, dude, this is like this. If he comes back, it brings you back to that time of that video he released about leaving the Texans, which was so, dude. Like, I think I cried that day because it was like, holy cow! Like, there's no way JJ Watt's leaving Houston. No way. It's not possible because he's JJ Watt. Like, look at what he's done for us over all the years he's played, not just on the field, but off the field. People don't live in Houston and are Texans fans, we went through a very tragic storm in 2018, I believe.
2017.
Harvey, 17. Um, Hurricane Harvey or Tropical Storm Harvey, whatever they call it now. And JJ Watt raised like 20 million,
I think it was like
$100 million.
30. I think it was like $30 million.
I mean, it was like an absurd number. Like, people don't realize, like, this guy helped Houston on and off the field in so many ways. He gave the Texans that hype during the games. Waved that flag coming out of the tunnel. That energy when he gets that sack. He does the he came out to turn down
The
for what?
salute.
Like the salute. Like, bro, there was just so many iconic things. And he got hurt and then he came back and he's just a fighter, man. And him, if he comes back, it would just be a great time to be a Texans fan and just bring back all those memories, good or bad, about JJ. And I've never had a bad memory about JJ. I had bad memories about the organization letting his ass go and made a stupid decision.
He was the engine of our team, no doubt. When JJ left, the Texans were, in my eyes, completely different. We just lacked we lacked like the heart and soul that we had, and it was even worse that he went to go join DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona. That sucked, but hey, maybe D Hop will come back soon too. We'll see.
Yeah. And by the way, it was 2018, but
It
he
was
also
2018.
raised $41 million. And guys, this isn't just him donating the money. Like, he did. But he was out there. Like, literally, he was out there feeding people, giving, like, handing out clothes. Like, this is a guy that he didn't just play the game of football. He used his power, his recognition, his fame, his money for good. And that's why we may joke about JJ in, like, a way, but like he does mean a lot to this organization and Houstonians, period, because football is just a game. And JJ did a lot off the field that saved people's lives. I mean, there was people that lost their homes, lost everything they owned, and he was giving away $41 million worth of food, clothes. There was some other stuff that he did that I can't really remember off the top of my head. But yeah,
Yeah, he
this
was
guy
also a
was
guy
awesome.
who frequently just like visited schools and stuff, which was
Yeah,
cool. I know never mind because I went to a like a trailer park school, but but he just did that kind of stuff. He was very philanthropic, so just a great
yeah,
guy. Let's see though. I like that you didn't take me on it. I was really glad you didn't, because that would be a fever dream.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, man, we have a shorter video today just because not a whole lot going on, but we really wanted to hit that Nico Collins news.
yeah,
Um, Super excited about that. It seemed like that was sort of the last domino to fall. Until then, there's going to be a lot of just off season to training camp sort of news, maybe some cuts and whatnot. Nick Casario hinted that there would be cuts coming up soon, and so far there haven't been many, but I'm expecting that to sort of ramp up, and these prop bets will be a fun episode to do in the off season next year when things are getting slow. We'll come revisit them. So
yeah, for sure.
yeah, definitely appreciate everyone watching. Really excited that the videos are picking up steam and people seem to like them.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, guys. And like we said, we appreciate you guys for watching, tuning in. Please leave more comments. That's awesome. We love seeing them. So yeah, but we'll see y'all next time.
Peace out, y'all.